Hello everyone and welcome to another chill Sunday stream. Don't mind me, I'm just getting the last bits of my stuff set up. Super quick. Also I see Ill State Fishing, welcome, welcome. And merchants as well, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Reminding everybody if they can to use a live chat as well so we can see what everybody is saying. Jaguar, welcome, welcome. As usual, love the cat in the box. Always good to see that. Merchants, I'm gonna have tea, but I'll be right back. Well, I hope you enjoy your tea. I've got mine right here and ready for the stream. Jaguar, you already knew I did. Jalix, welcome. Everybody, how are you doing? How's your Sunday going? Is it a chill experience already? If not, hopefully we will make it one with this stream. Super busy. Super busy doing things that I hope fulfill you. Loving this very simple melody from Carto as we get into the experience. So the plan for today is to finish up Carto, and then we'll hop into Staxel and do the thing that we usually do there, where we make one thing to commemorate the old game, in this case Carto, and in the case of the new game that we're going to play, Underhero, we will be creating our portal for that game, and if time permits, we will hopefully start Underhero as well today. In terms of topics, I wanted to talk, again, since we're dealing with a game about maps, I thought it would be interesting to have a conversation about borders, in this case, when it comes to anarchy. And leftist ideas. There's been kind of three different perspectives put out there on what type of borders would exist in an anarchist world, whether there be borders that would kind of be similar to what we have today and just we build around and ignore those borders while we're creating the anarchist society, open borders where we just open everything up, or eliminating borders entirely. So I wanted to kind of draw out that kind of conversation, and just kind of see what our thoughts are on such matters. Jaguar says, I'm doing some projects in a chill Sunday way. Hey, that works. Chill Sunday kind of way. That works. So I'm going to give people like another minute or two to make their way into the stream. Jalix says, borders are a huge topic of conflict on the left in Germany, just FYI. Well, if you have a lot of things to add to the conversation in that regard, Jalix, I would love to hear what you have to say. Give it about another minute for people to make their way in, and then we can get going with Carto. So last time on Carto, we had entered into the icy area, and we were kind of exploring it for the first time. We were figuring out, we're using like almost Tetris pieces instead of individual map blocks here. So hopefully we can figure out our way through it. I'll just load in very quick. Yeah, in the area, Chapter 9, Iceberg. And we were on our way to try to find Carto's grandparent in the northern regions, or in the icy regions. Jelix said have to get into the current situation with Die-Link, which just means something like the left party. I can definitely do that later if everybody's okay with it. Yeah, for sure, Jalix. Happy to have you add input to the conversation and include whatever you can. So, where were we? Jaguar says I'm down. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. So, in Carto, we had just gotten across the bridge and talked to that person. Because we'd found the backpack, and they fixed and repaired the one bridge over here. Once we settled in, we have a topic then? Exactly. That's what I'm looking forward to. So we can get... We're kind of stuck in this area. I want to see if we can now cross the other bridge if the person repaired it. How can we best get across here? Maybe I should... how can I... Can I do that? No, because that won't connect there. That won't connect there. Won't be able to cross there. I do like that the puzzles get a little bit challenging, but not, like, overwhelmingly so. In the late game. Like, I can combine that, but then I can't get across. I think I'm just gonna have to cross over and then connect things. Yes, and then I can cross back over this way. And now that I'm here, I can do that. Honestly, I'm not a fan of puzzle games. They simply don't click with me, but watching you play Carto is still pretty cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying watching. Puzzle games for me are some of my favorite ones. I like the idea of having to try to move something around to try to make it work. And I don't know, I guess I just like the mechanics of it, of trying to like flip the pieces and put them together. But this in general has just been a very chill experience where it doesn't feel overwhelming. Sometimes puzzle games can take it up to a really high level, and I'm not about that. I spend a large part of my time doing like research and stuff, so it's nice to do more chill puzzles for me. He fixed up the bridge and then ran off mumbling about pickles. So where'd he end up running off to? Oh, we got a new piece too, which is kind of awesome. Cannot connect it there, but I can... No, I can't connect it there either. That does not work. Could I connect it? That kind of works. Kind of. Because I need to get onto this piece somehow. True research is a lot like puzzles, isn't it? Fitting all the information together into a coherent story. Yeah, in a lot of ways, it really is. Where you're taking little bits of information from this source and that source and this other source. And you're kind of combining it, like you said, in a way, Jalix, where you can make a coherent story out of it. At least that's how I see a lot of it. And I very much appreciate you putting that together, because it kind of feels a little less lonely to hear somebody else see it that way or be able to experience it in kind of a similar way in that regard. This piece does not want to connect to this one in these areas. Ah, there we go. There we go. Now we might be onto something. I can get onto that piece. I am on the piece. I can now connect it over here. There we go. I'm on the snowy side, at least. Caution, slippery ice ahead. Still haven't really made it up to that side. Hold on, I want to see something first before we go onto that ice. I honestly have no clue about what you're doing right now. So mostly right now, what I'm attempting to do is figure out how to get to the different parts of the map by maneuvering things around. Oh, actually, that would be convenient if I could connect. That's not horrible. Okay. And then I can take this and... Can I bring it here? No. Mostly I'm just trying to connect these similar colored pieces together in such a way that I can move from one piece to another and move through the map. If I move this up, then I should be able to get here now. And so by combining the pieces and separating them out in different ways, I can move myself along the map in different patterns. But you can only connect similar biomes to one another. And so I haven't gotten into the spot by the river on this side and the dark gray colored area. So I'm trying to get over there and see what might be there. Though I'm kind of having trouble making that happen. So I'm trying to kind of cross that river to where that lake is, and see if I can find a way to... Or that icy patch. I'm not sure which that is, actually. On this piece that I'm touching right now. Jaguar had said, I agree. I like that puzzles are a little more complex as you play, but not over the top. I think it keeps the feel of fun of discovery. Yeah, if it had stayed on the same level the entire way through, it might have even gotten a little boring, at least for me, because it would have been kind of like, oh, you're just doing the same puzzle over and over again. What if I... See, like, that's looking good, but I can't get anywhere on this one now. Must have taken a whole lot of planning on the developer side. Seeing all the ways the tiles could connect together. Yeah, I feel like whoever designed this must have had a keen eye for that. To be able to see exactly how you want to, like, rotate the pieces and how you want the player to maneuver. I could do that if I could get over there. That could be useful, actually. That's closer to what I want. Basically, I need to get into one of the gray spaces that can connect here. I actually don't know if I have a space that can do that. Because I can't get over there. Actually, can I get over into that square? I'd have to get onto that square via this. Maybe that'll work. Doug, welcome. It's good to see you on stream. Well, I'm glad you stopped by, and as usual, I am glad to have you here. Okay, I found the way to the spot. There we go. You must be the newcomer. Word travels fast around here, unlike our icebergs. You see, our icebergs actually move pretty slowly. Thank you for explaining the joke to me. They separate and drift around, sometimes for a few hours and other times for days. They always drift back together in a different shape. Luak says there are 7 icebergs, but we've only counted 6. But he's a great archaeologist and a keen survivalist, so I believe him. We all chip in around here. Tekok protects us from the ice beasts. Lucy made me this jaunty shirt out of pine needles and furs. That sounds very warm. I do hope they ground down the pine needles first, though. Because I can imagine pine needles really, really being pointy and sharp if you didn't grind it down. And I've sailed the entire ocean, so I help keep track of the movements of the icebergs. I'm sure you'll figure out your role if you decide to stick around. I got another page, which should be very useful. Another piece of the puzzle. Pine needles in clothing, intriguing. Yeah, if you powdered that down, maybe? I don't know. I wouldn't imagine pine needles being very good for making clothing if they were in, like, a full form. I imagine they would stick through things. I wonder how you could actually do that now. So I want to get here. That seems like a place to be. I wonder how I could connect that, because it doesn't look like... Yeah, that's a different biome. That's not, though. Ooh, there's a snowman's head. So, it's locked from the other side. Oh, I have to go in through that icy biome. Like somewhere over there. Because that's the only entrance on the map. You know what I want to see now? If I go over here... Can I then flip this around so I can explore this corner? Okay, there's a snowman that I have to build. Apparently. And I can't get to the other corner because I don't have that biome. Yes, Jalix, thank you for reminding people to switch over to live chat so they can see the full extent of the conversation. Unfortunately, when YouTube goes into top chat... Yeah, ill state fishing, I apologize for that. That's out of my control, unfortunately. YouTube just keeps switching us over to top chat. And it's kind of frustrating because I want to be able to see what you all are saying and to get the full experience of everybody's comments and thoughts. So the question now becomes how to get back here so I can make my way onto the ice. There we go. That works. And you sadly have to do that. It just filters out random messages in top chat. Exactly. And, I haven't found a way to manually make it so that it always goes to live chat. I can theoretically turn chat off, apparently. Not that I'd want to do that, but I'm just not given the option to do that, in at least in any way that I have figured out. Ooh, sliding puzzle. That's neat. Okay, we are on the ice. So that's gonna mean using this tile. Okay, that doesn't connect. That way. What if we put it this way? Not really. What if we turn this one? Okay, we made it onto that tile. Okay, this is close. King Cyrus, welcome. How are you doing today? How's your Sunday going? Let's see if I do it this way. No. Can go up here. I made it in. You can have a chat pop out, that's pretty neat. I agree. You look like you've been jostled by a beast, though. Hold still for a moment, let me bandage you. Have you heard of Blue Ox legend yet? He's our leader and a renowned adventurer. He says that one day we'll find a precious treasure on the fabled 7th iceberg. Treasure hunters travel great distances when they hear our legend, but most lose hope after a time and leave the iceberg. I suppose those of us left still hold some hope in our hearts. Is the legend what brought you here, young traveler? Now I'm trying to find my grandparent. Treasure means something different to us all. I'm sure you'll find yours. Me, I'm hoping to find some help with my hunting. My spear's getting blunt from all the ice beasts I'm battling. Or doodling in the ice while I keep watch for them. Well, you're all bandaged up. Stay cozy out there. Now there's one little thing that I wanted to try. Now that I'm here. I know we can get back, so I don't feel as worried about this. There's supposed to be a couple of pieces of the snowman. That I need to find. One of them's supposed to be on the ice somewhere. I keep ending up back in now when I wanna... But I am not 100% sure where I am supposed to find this piece of the snowman on the ice. I did not. Nope. I wonder where it could be. That's the start area. Maybe I haven't gotten the piece for it yet? That's possible. This part of the map looks kinda... a bit difficult and confusing. You got this? Thank you for the support. I definitely appreciate that. I think it's just a matter of, Oh, excuse the pun, I guess, but trying to piece it together. I'm gonna see if I get another piece. Maybe that'll do it. I hope you enjoying the scarf. How do you like my new one? I knitted it together just now. Oh, it's just how I contribute to the community. Everyone finds a way. As for your contribution, well, I can see that you have an amazing sense of direction and never seem to be lost. You have no idea how lost I am. Perhaps you can help Luak on his treasure hunt. I'm sure you've heard of it by now. What do you think the treasure could be? Duke, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? Hi, bright, shiny people loving the winter scene. Yeah, the snowy colors of the background are really nice with this area. And the atmospheric music kind of just brings this very campfire-y feel of, you know, huddling for warmth. Even with these gloves, my hands keep going numb while I'm knitting. Oof. A little too cold, maybe. Ah, another piece. I will take that. We meet again. And wouldn't you know it, I just gave away my last pickle. By way of apology, let me tell you about this space we're in. A bit of a headache, otherwise okay, says Duke. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your headache. I hope that, we can give you a chill experience that will make it a little bit less tense, and maybe help your headache in small ways. So regardless of where the icebergs drift to, we can easily connect them. How's that for some ice-cold facts? King Cyrus, is advising Tylenol. It's often easier to get around if you start from this base. Good luck. So what's this new piece? New piece. There's no ice on the new piece. But... I should be able to connect this to this biome or this biome. But I can't leave that way, so it's kind of not useful at the moment. Locked from the other side. Ah, I can open these. That's convenient. That is very convenient. Merchants, welcome back. Hope you're doing okay. Trying to find the last two pieces of this snow person. King Cyrus is in the pocket of Big Pharma. Oh, we gotta watch out for that. I am not sure where this other two pieces of the snow person are supposed to be. Okay, I'm on this piece now. And I want to work my way back, but be on the other path. Oh, wrong side. And that's the entrance. Let me very quickly check the snow person puzzle in this to see if I'm missing a piece.
Hey everybody, today
Oop, oop, oop. Did not mean to have that go off. No, apparently you can get it just with this. Okay. Oh no, is that another piece? There might be another ice piece that I need. There is another ice piece. Okay, I haven't gotten there yet then. Okay, now at least I know I'm doing something I can't do yet. Let's try to move ahead a little bit and see where we end up. Also, I should be able to go there. And then I should be able to do something like this. Nope, not that. This way? There we go. And now I can take this piece and I can go up here because I can open this gate now. Now that I'm here, where do I want to go? Oh, I see. Hold up. Cross back over. Gangle, welcome. How are you doing today? This is like all those spinny things in the rocket base under the casino, only with a long drawn-out movement animation. Which thing are you talking about, Duke? Okay, there's fog here. And now we're on the new biome. Hello again. I'm impressed you made it here. I thought only Luak dared navigate the foggy narrows. Sometimes he joins me here to study the old lighthouse. He thinks it might be related to the 7th iceberg since we're too far out for most boats. I can't navigate the fog myself, so I usually drift over on an ice floe. Oh, in Pokemon Duke. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I've been studying the patterns of the currents ever since I arrived here. Just today I found this beautiful piece of paper washed ashore. Perhaps you can make use of it. I've been trying to float a message back to my home island for years. I left there more than a decade ago, but I still miss some of my people sometimes. They have a rule where you can never return once you sail for your coming of age. Oh! You're from the same place as our friend. This wooden boat, I don't believe it. I'd recognize this carving work anywhere. My mother made this. Did you visit my home island? Did she send this along for me? Oh, that's neat. We got to pass on the message. This means the world. Thank you dearly. Although I can't see my parents again, knowing they still think of me too, well, it warms my heart, even in this frigid place. I don't know what great stroke of fortune brought us together, newcomer, but thank you. Aw. An abandoned lighthouse, forgotten even by the sea. So we should probably be able to connect this here first. And now we've opened all the different sides. And we have this new piece. That's the piece I need for the ice. Okay. And I can put the snowman piece here. Now we just need one more piece. Let's see if we can... And there it is. That worked. We have got the last piece of the snow person. A happy, fashionable snowman. So, we visited there. Now we should be able to connect this. Where can we connect that? Maybe we can connect that here so we can meet this person. No? Oh, because I have that like that. I've been so busy fixing bridges, I must have neglected the monolith. I don't usually let the snow pile up like this. And wouldn't you know it, I left my backpack and tools with my afternoon tea. Again? Again? I know I wasn't even good for a measly pickle last time, but could you possibly grab my backpack from the windy woods nearby? The weather picked up again as I finished, and I couldn't even stand up, but you seem to have made it here just fine. What do you say, help an old man out again? Where are the woods that you want me to go to? What's this? A weather vane clinging on in a heavy wind. Oh geez. Oh, it pushes... Okay. Depending on the direction... I grabbed it. I got it. Here's your backpack. You found my backpack, thanks. Just as soon as I brine some more pickles, they shall be yours, promise. In the meantime, I need a moment to clear the snow off the monolith. That looks like a pattern. Back to its glorious self. Do you see the patterns? Many icebergs ago, our ancestors had to abandon this place. The climate had changed and become inhospitable. That feels relevant. You know, icebergs just disappearing. Not relevant at all. It is said they left a treasure behind, one of impossible value and use. My people found our way back here and found new ways to survive. I've been looking for the treasure ever since. I still believe that we'll find it even when we find the fabled 7th iceberg. When I don't know where to look next, I come to this monolith for inspiration. I feel as if the patterns left by our ancestors are a clue. Each side of the monolith has a different pattern. Perhaps you can make sense of them. Each side of the monolith has a different pattern. Oh. An ancient monolith with 3 mysterious patterns. So if I make those patterns, I probably get the 3 gems that are here, and... Gotcha. So let me write these down. This is pattern 1, which is 3 up. 1 right. And then... this. And then there's this one. 1, 2, 3 up and 1 across. And then a box of 4. And rotate it 1 more time. And we get this one. Which is like that. Okay. So I have the patterns written down, and what I'm curious about now is... do I have to connect them in this way? Because they're like the shapes of the pieces. So, for example... Yep. One side of the monolith is glowing. So do I have to connect the map with all of these connected somehow? So this one should connect to... Is it this one? That's 2. And then 3... 2 sides of the monolith are glowing. That doesn't quite connect. It is surprisingly relaxing watching you work through these puzzles. I'm glad you're enjoying, honestly. I was a little bit, I don't know if nervous is the right word, just a little bit worried, I guess, that maybe solving the puzzles would be boring, but I'm glad that it seems to be a relaxing thing, and for me, I would enjoy watching it personally. Mostly because I want to see all the things fit together. I don't know if that's just me. So it looks like I need to somehow fit this together in a way where it goes there, but I can't do that with this piece. And that one's not going to work. I'm a little confused on this one. Unless I do this backwards, question mark? But the other ones were fairly obvious with the way they were supposed to connect. I guess what I'm curious about then is... No, it's pretty specific on that, isn't it? Oh, it doesn't matter the direction it's going. So maybe I can swap this around a different way. Jalek says, I'm just doing a bit of mini painting. It's quite enjoyable to have you in the background too. Aw. I'm glad you're doing the minis again, like Duke said. So this needs to be the L and that. So these two pieces have to connect in some way that makes them look like this. But they just don't connect on that side. Unless I'm supposed to somehow use this one here. But that doesn't really fit either. You know what? I have it in my notebook. I can just rotate the notebook. That would be helpful as well. Yeah, it's gonna have to be that. There it is. That beam of light, amazing. It must be a clue to how to get to the 7th iceberg, perhaps. Perhaps the beam can bring the lighthouse back to life. Though it could take years for icebergs to drift into just the right formation. Where are you going? This is a rare, precious moment. The patterns on the monolith so glorious and different from every angle. So I need to connect everything? Or can I just, like, bring the lighthouse here? No, the light is now permanent. Okay. So... you won't let me leave now. I don't have anything to really connect to that beam of light. Oh, I'm controlling the beam of light. That makes sense. Hold up. And I need to somehow get it to the lighthouse. How would I do that? These don't need to be connected anymore. Oh, I can bounce it. That's not really helpful. I got it onto this. I feel like I'm gonna have to combine all of these pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to get to the full iceberg, as it were. I just don't know which way they should go. I had hoped that they would connect the way that the game had instructed me to, like, build them. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that way. At least not obviously that way to me yet. Because that does look like it would connect. What if I put... Actually, idea time. No. That doesn't fit. I have no idea how to bounce this. And I know I'm going to need this over here. Otherwise, that wouldn't really work. Because essentially what I need to do is get the light to the lighthouse. Also, if this is an iceberg, maybe you put water and the ocean on the outer parts of what you built. Yeah, I was thinking something similar. The issue I'm having is that I had assumed that the pieces that they told me to put together to form the light in the first place. I know I have all the pieces to the puzzle because there's 6 icebergs, which I have 6 pieces, and I'm trying to find the elusive 7th one. So I do have all the pieces. I had assumed that the patterns they had me make, that I was supposed to somehow combine them like the way they were. And that would allow me to like connect them as larger pieces to make a giant iceberg. But I'm also just not seeing a way to connect them. Unless I can do this. But that's not like how they were originally connected. And then they don't connect in other areas. Like, I was thinking that I have to make them one giant landmass kind of thing. Perhaps the square is central and they all connect around it. That would be convenient, but then where do I bounce this beam off of? See, like, I can't even do that. And it looks, based on this, like I'm gonna shoot the beam up the side there and bounce it down into the lighthouse like this. What, like connecting the dark blue water pieces like this? I only have 3 of them. Bounce the beam off each end of the 4 diagonals on the square and wrap the beam around. That would be interesting. I don't know how I would do that exactly. Hold on, what if I did... And that won't connect there. Like, have everything connect to the square map piece? Doesn't quite work. I feel like I need to see this from a different angle. The white line needs to make it from the starting point that it's on to the glowing beacon at the bottom, the lighthouse. It bounces when you add a new piece. So, like, that would do something. Wait a second. Wait a second. Boom. It just happened. That rumbling, could it be? Where did you go? So... I can connect you to the village, maybe? No, not that way. I can connect you that way. Okay, that works. Every time you make a discovery or solve a puzzle, the sounds are so satisfying, aren't they? I'm glad I'm not the only one that enjoys that. The game makes you feel accomplished, and I very much enjoy that. Ooh, it finally happened. My hands are feeling warmer already. Incredible. I always believed Luwak was, and he was right. Now let's see about that treasure. Helping me hunt. That seventh iceberg. I can't believe I'm actually standing on it. What an iceberg. I don't know what you did, newcomer, but you seem to be making everyone's day. Oh my. You did it. You found the seventh iceberg, and here's our ancestors' treasure, just as I theorized. I'm sorry for running off on you. I just had to see it for myself once the iceberg surfaced. No, I totally get you. This is exciting. I've been searching for so long. I can't believe the day has come. Time to open the treasure. Everyone, please stand back. We don't know what awaits us within. Hold your breath, everyone. Here we go. What is it? What is it? What is it? But how is right? Are those little husky puppies? Husky dogs. Our ancestors left us huskies. They're perfect. We have to keep them warm. The poor things. We must protect them. I'd die for them. Anything else warm we can add? That's great. Now let's get them back to the base. How did they survive in the trip? It's exciting news. Let's just go with it. That's great. Now let's get them back to the base. Oh, hey. Oh, sorry to interrupt whatever this is. I was sailing nearby when an iceberg surfaced from below and grounded the boat. Just wanted to make sure you were okay. Hi everyone, I'm Carto's friend. Looks like you're pretty busy. Anything I can help with? Jalix asks how long they were in there. Apparently they were put there as a secret treasure by the people here's ancestors. They must have had some sort of suspended animation. Apparently perfected cryogenic suspension. Exactly, Duke. These are cryogenically frozen husky puppies. It looks like you're pretty busy. Anything I can help with? Good timing, friend. We need to bring these sleepy pooches back to our base. You're very welcome to join us. And so we bring the little puppers with us. Oh, letter time. Carto, my treasure, I just saw you down below. Did you see your granny? I was all set to scoop you up in the airship after she cooled off, but the old gal wasn't happy when I dipped below the clouds. I don't think I can risk landing there. I'll need to meet you somewhere above the clouds. Find the tallest place you can, and I'll find you there. It's a promise this time. I can't wait to hold you in my arms. We have so much more to explore together. Love, Granny. Alright. I already started knitting them some clothes. 6 sets of everything. Little socks, little scarves, maybe some little hats. I'm sure they'll start shedding soon, too. Nothing is warmer than husky fur gloves. Looks like I've got my wish after all. A mystery spanning generations finally solved. How thoughtful our ancestors were. These creatures are truly a treasure. Husky pup sleeping soundly. I think that's it, or they magically came to life when you opened it. Yeah, either one. I'm down for either one. Either they were cryogenically frozen to pass them through the ages, or they magically came to life when the chest was opened. One way or the other, they are sleeping, they are happy, and they are being warmed by the fire. Adorable. This should keep them warm enough. We're letting them wake up naturally. They must have been asleep for ages. Yep, cryogenic freezing. It looks like I got my hunting help after all. I just have to wait until these pups grow a little bigger. Your days are numbered, ice beasts. Aw, those pups are too cute. Makes me want one of my own. They'd be such good companions out at sea. Got my letter from my granny. Your granny was so close to us. We need to meet her above the clouds, huh? Nowhere jumps to mind, but let's head back to the story chalet and do some research. My, I can't believe my little Shannon is here too. She was just a child when I sailed, and now she's off on her own coming of age. She's told me so many stories about our people, it fills me with joy. You've done so much for me, but I have one last favor to ask. When you sail, will you please drop this near the shore of our island on your way? My parents will surely find it, and I know they'll be glad to hear from me. Yep. We can do that. Are we ready to set sail? I think we've done everything here that we can. We got our snow person stuff done. I hope the story tender knows somewhere we can get above the clouds. Well, let's head back over and see. Welcome back, girls. It's always nice to see you. How can I help? We need to get above the clouds since Carto's granny can't land her airship. Who's what can't land there, huh? Sorry, it's a long story. Maybe you'll read about it one day. Do you know of anywhere that's tall enough that we can get above the clouds? Actually, the top of the storage chalet goes pretty high up. But it's just a small house. It might appear that way, but you'd be surprised. I once found myself on the very top floor. There were no books up there, but the view was breathtaking. Okay, can you show us how to get up there? I'd be happy to, young miss, but I haven't reached the top floor again since. This can be a complicated place, I'm afraid. Though I can show you what I know. Please follow me. Here we are. This looks more like the basement than the top floor. Yes, it's just the basement. But let me regale you for a moment. It was a normal morning many moons ago, and I was doing my rounds of the chalet, reading the new chapters, feeding the spiders, that sort of thing. I was still half asleep and wandered into a door I didn't recognize. Before I knew it, I was rocketing upwards, and it spilled me out on the top floor. That sounds more like a dream you had. It's always a possibility, but I spent the entire day up there, and my sunburn was very real. I had the most glorious views of the forest. I'd never been so high up. I've hoped to find my way back there ever since. With the smarts on you gals, I bet we can figure it out. I'm not sure that story quite adds up, but it's the only lead we have. Let's look around and see what we can find, Carto. You got it. Let's read all the books and catch up. The door was allegedly in this room, but the clues could be anywhere. The strength of a tree is measured by the growth of its roots, as they say in the Wildwood, and the mother tree is the strongest of them all. When fully grown, the mother tree's root system extends across the entire world deep underground. This growth process takes roughly 1,000 years based on the sapling used to spur her regrowth. We are in the basement. What haven't we read yet? A rarely seen door allowed a scant few storytellers access to the observation deck. Someone scrolled a message across the page. The top floor is real, and I found the way there. I don't have enough space to fully explain, but this should get you started. Good luck, future storytenders. A small scroll of paper flutters down. Okay. That seems important. So we need this. Just drawing this out super quick. We haven't read this book. Message in a Beetle. The spotted sand beetle wove its way through the burning desert sands on assignment from the captain of the water seekers. It bore a message that a new oasis had been found, that it was time for the rest of the tribe to join the seekers. This particular species of beetle could absorb the harsh rays of the sun, channeling them into the energy to power its sand-shoveling mandibles. Its natural predators included the prancing asp, the luminescent fox, and Paulson's tarantula, but it evaded them all. The beetle arrived just in time as the tribe's water supply dwindled and enjoyed a reward of candy cactus nectar for its troubles. Well, that's a happy ending for our little beetle friend. The little cartographer had just barely missed her ground near the iceberg, but she knew she was close. All she had to do now was to find somewhere tall enough to get above the clouds. They headed back to the story chalet, short as it was, or was it? I would like to pop these down here for the moment. Oh, I need to get downstairs first. No, I can do that. Check out the other books. Kellen and her forgetful husband Gata were missing their son more than usual that day. Gata was out strolling the shores as he often did before getting lost. But that day he found a bottle sitting on the North Pier as if it had just been left for him. It had a message inside, and he was so excited that he managed to find his own way home. His wife remembered the message and unfurled it and immediately burst into tears. "I'd recognize this handwriting anywhere," she said. "My son wrote this." Their son's heartfelt message had crossed the ocean somehow and arrived just when they needed it most. So I guess we passed on that message in a bottle. That's pretty cool. Neverwinter Naps. Another legend of the iceberg involves a miraculous drink called Neverwinter. Created by a mixture of several types of ice and local herbs, Neverwinter puts its drinker into deep hibernation. In this way, they can sleep through the winter safely until being awoken by the first light of spring. The recipe has been lost to time, though local mixologists are always experimenting, hoping to rediscover it. Well, I guess that explains how they got the huskies. The first settler of the iceberg was merely a child, lost adrift at sea, separated from his people. Upon his arrival, a pack of huskies took great interest in him and nurtured him as one of their own. They taught him how to hunt, communicate with the other dogs, and keep himself warm. The settler swore that he'd find a way for future generations to have the support of huskies whenever they were needed. Oh. It's actually really beautiful. And then we can pop. We need to get into these two. So we can then see what other books we have to read. The Mystery of the Speedy Sheep. The Grasslanders had started to notice that their sheep had become unusually fast of late. They strayed far from their shepherds and devoured cabbages at an alarming speed. Not my cabbages. After some detective work, the Grasslanders determined that rubber plant seeds had been spread around the town somehow. The last sources of rubber in their region were used to manufacture magic boots, which hadn't been seen in decades. But the Grasslanders were glad to have new seed samples to cultivate, and soon their sheep were back to a reasonable speed. And we have this book, The Goat Attraction. After the eruption subsided, the Palmer family rode goats on the mouth of the volcano to survey the changes. The cooled lava rock had created a series of tunnels and slides as far as the eye could see. Dare they ride their goats down the slides, they wondered? And thus a new world-famous attraction was born, the luxurious Lava Lodge. I think that was everything I could read so far. Unless I can read this right here. A book lies open on the desk, nearby a typewriter taps. Okay. Nothing else is glowing, so I'm assuming that we're good in that regard. So the pattern was... Okay, so this was second. And there was a pathway that I had to put something there, which connected into something here that went downstairs. So there needs to be something there. This one needs to be here. How many down was that? 2 down, right? Yep. So there's 2 there, and then it goes down 1 more time. So something like this. That works. And then there should be a room, that, and that. Looks like we found it. Let's go. We are on the top floor. Whoa, I've never been this high up. Is anyone else dizzy? My, it's just as magnificent as I remember. And when'd you get a load of that tree? Though, I'm sorry, girls. It looks like we're still below the clouds, even up here. Don't worry, Carto. We just need to get a bit higher. How about on top of that enormous tree? It's hard to tell, but it looks like it goes even higher up than we are now. And maybe it's still growing. I'd say it's worth a try. I'm gonna stay here and enjoy the view for a bit. Who knows when I'll find my way up here again. Thanks for the help, Mr. Story Tender. Come on, Carto, let's make a tree and visit that tree. That's cute. And wouldn't you know it, I forgot my sunscreen. Ah, well, burn baby burn. Ancient typewriter ink. This ink looks a bit sad. Ancient typewriter ink. This ink looks a bit dramatic. Ancient typewriter ink. This ink looks a bit funny. Ready to go? That tree's just across the forest. Let's see if there's... Yep, let's head down. Best of luck on your journey, and thank you for helping me find this place. I'll never forget it. Time for some elevator action. Welcome, beardless messengers. Mother's been expecting you. She told me to gather everyone here, that the time for family has come. Oh. Mother says to thank you for your help in her rebirth, and now it's time for her to help you. You may enter her embrace. Lend Mother the energy of the land, and she will take you where you want to go. Wow. This place is so cool, Carto. Are these your friends? They look pretty tough. Roar. We better head inside that tree. Vulture soars high. You will go higher. Small one, isn't Mother marvelous? Cherb's saplings must have been special to make her grow this quickly. The winds are fair today. Enjoy them atop. Cherb's getting the hang of this watcher thing. Hello there. If you think Mother's impressive now, you should see her when she's fully grown. Phew. It can get kinda hot out here when you're as furry as us. Good thing Mother keeps us cool with her shade. Aw, bear hug. Let's head inside the tree. Yeah, let's do it. To the treetops. We're so high up. Is that my island in the distance? Check out this view, Carto. Are we finally high enough up? It still looks like the clouds are above us. Let's look around. Maybe we can spot somewhere that's even taller than this. You could see the whole world from up here. It almost looks like a map. Ooh, what are you doing? This is so exciting. You're holding such big pieces of the map. Are you putting everything together? Connect every piece of the map. Oh, here we go. So now we literally have to connect every single piece of the map together. This is oddly satisfying right now. Now, what I'm curious about is, do they need every piece to fit together in such a way that it forms some sort of shape, or do they just need the pieces to connect? Oh, I can complete the map. I guess I just need them all to connect. Yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess. Okay, kind of a good thing that I combined so much of this map already. Well, this piece can go. No, it can't. Okay. Okay, this one's already completed. Yeah, I had, like, the goal of completing these as I was going for the most part, so... We can combine these. And now I have to combine these. Um, hmm. That works. All of the maps combined. And the tree grew. Ooh, we're above the clouds. You did it, Carto. We're above the clouds. Can you see your granny? Let's find out. Yeah, there's definitely some Yggdrasil vibes with this, Duke. Granny! Carto, my sweet. We did it, we made it back. I knew we'd find each other, dear girl. It was only a matter of time, or should I say, a mapper? You've been so resourceful to track me here. And you found all the pieces of our map. A true master cartographer just like your granny. And who's your companion? Hello, ma'am. I am Shannon. I would say I've heard so much about you, but Carto's a little on the quiet side. She's the best, though. She taught me so many things. And we've been to so many cool places. And. I want to hear all about them, child. But now that we're all here together, why don't you show me a few firsthand? We can take the airship and we'll use the map that you girls recovered. You can introduce me to some of your friends and take me to your favorite spots. Shannon? Thanks, I'd love to join. Lead the way, Carto. This game is so wholesome. I can see why you wanted me to meet him. What a fine specimen. Why, thank you, ma'am. It's good to see you again. I was talking to the bear, you lout. That makes more sense. But it's nice to see you again too, Lempa. Churb is so confused. I'm just so glad that we're both back with our precious girls. You said it, sister, and what a slice of heaven this is. Thank these whole bones of— I didn't get a chance to read that. We would have never found the oasis without your fearless little lady there. I'm mighty proud of her. It takes a few rinses. Okay, I missed part of that, unfortunately. But, you know, you can all pause and do so if you're watching this again. She traveled around the world to see countless amazing things. Have you ever seen plants? Of course. Are rare animals impossible to find? What kind of plants? So, many kinds. Sprawling vulture vines, carnivorous cacti, and even an invisible orchid. We've seen those already. Tough crowd. Now that's the hot lava spice that keeps me young. Ooh-wee delicious. I'm so glad you like it, Grandmam. That's an old Palmer family recipe. I think I burnt my tongue. Feature at your own risk. Compliments the menu. So let me get this straight. You held a coming-of-age ceremony for 4 types of fish. Well, now you mention it, it was more of a fishing competition. In any case, mermaids were there. That sounds like quite a competition. Indeed, I'm still not sure if I won. Are you 15? Hey, the puppers are up. Your little girl's quite the talent. I've been looking for the 7th iceberg for years and she found it in an afternoon. Yet we cartographers will do that. The apple doesn't fall far from the grandmother tree. Keep a close eye on the pups, girls. They're a sneaky bunch. Ah, the story chalet. It hasn't aged a day, unlike me. Are you the artful aeronaut, master airship? Wow, I'm a huge fan. I've read every issue. Keep it down, Sonny. These days, I'm just the gentle granny, though I suppose I manage to sneak in a daring tale every once in a while. Will you sign my first issue? The little cartographer and her grandly finally reunited, embraced warmly. The crisp air rustled through the leaves around them, high atop the mother tree. She felt so happy to be back, her favorite person in the world. She had also made a few new best friends and discovered a newfound adventure. Thanks for the invite, guys. It sounds like so much fun. But I hear the ocean whispering my name. Still, I have some more exploring of my own to do before I find my new home. It was lovely meeting you, Granny. Thank you for sharing your stories with me. And you, child, I'm so glad you and Carto found one another. Best of luck out there. I'll miss you so much, Carto, but I'm sure we'll find each other again soon. Best friends never stay gone for long. Carto and Shannon. And there we got the credits rolling. So while the credits roll, I am going to pop out quick and use the bathroom, and I will come right back and figure out what we're doing next, and then have our conversation while we do that. Either we'll have maybe 1 or 2 things to wrap up in Carto, or we can pop into Staxel. I'm gonna check what we have to do with that. So I will be right back, and we will then have our conversation. That cued me back in at great timing. Dear Shannon, it's so nice to be back with Granny, but I miss you lots. The skies have been beautiful. It's only been a few weeks, but we've already seen so many amazing things. We've even made it through another storm. We're prepared for anything now. Thank you for being such a great friend to me, and I hope you find wherever you're meant to be, and I'm sure I'll see you there soon. Also, you won't believe what I found hiding on the airship. One of the iceberg pups smuggled aboard. Good thing she likes seafood stew. Anyways, we all miss you. Write me back when you can. Love, Carto. Aw, Carto, I miss you too. Oh, one of the pups, went with her too. This game has been absolutely adorable and wholesome. There is no other word to define this. The end. Chapters mode unlocked. Now when you start a new game, you can either start from the beginning or choose any chapter to begin on. What's secrets? Airship scene unlocked. Ooh. Thanks for playing. Clear skies outside, good for weather for travel. A sleepy granny. A new work in progress map. Snoring adorably. Island character sketch. Nubin family, Tyvo, Shannon, and Sia. Island character sketch. So these are just sketches of the different characters in the game. So that's pretty cool. Well, that was an early concept of the granny. Early concepts of Carto. Was that going to dream us right back into the title screen? Yeah. So I think that is everything. Let me just quickly see if there was anything else that we can do in the game. Visit the airship. Apparently, I didn't get the one for reading all the stuff. I don't know where I would have missed something to read, though. I don't know which one I would have missed. I'm not gonna go back and try to get each reading that I might have missed. I probably didn't miss much. And the other thing I'm missing is apparently I didn't get the Tower of Hanoi perfectly. I thought I did. I will do that another time. I think that is it with Carto. So, what did you all think? I thought this was a pretty chill and wholesome experience. I very much enjoyed it and sharing it with you all. Kind of feels like I don't want it to end because it was such a good experience. But I'm also kind of excited to move on to the next game or move in the direction of the next game at the very least. So let me pop on out of here and load up some Staxel, and while we're building the portals, we can have our conversation for today. So what did everybody think of Carto? I know we had some that's wholesome and that's a sweet ending, but what did we think of it as a game as a whole? Load in Staxel. Get some nice familiar Staxel music going. That'll be nice to return to, honestly. Not gonna lie, Staxel music always chills me out. The game is loading up. Okay, detect the game. There we go. Move it over to the right screen. Jaguar says, I like the game concept, very creative. Duke says it was definitely an original take on puzzles. Yeah, I really like the idea of being able to move the world around you. Jaguar says I enjoyed how wholesome it was. Yeah, the story seemed to be very respectful about nature in a lot of ways, which I very much appreciated. There seemed to be a subtle climate change message under everything. Um, the importance of land and the map, but also it kind of represented, to me at the very least, a very interesting story in how we can influence the world around us. So I very much appreciated that. We popped back here. Why did we pop back here? I would have thought we would have come back by the dock that we created. Jaguar says, I loved how the game's narrative connected the concept of land, ancestors, and community. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with that. There was a lot of tie-ins to the nature of ancestors as well, and respecting elders. Very much appreciated all of that being in there. And I did really, really appreciate the idea of the tree, the mother tree. That to me was a very important thing within the game. Yeah, just, I don't know, I really appreciated that. So here we have the compass that we made for Carto. Not exactly a perfect compass, but, you know, it works. It did the trick as the portal for the game. And since we're on a dock here, I was thinking we could build that little ship that Carto and Shannon had utilized as our little symbol of having beaten the game. So I am just gonna get my blocks ready and then we can talk. Okay, what do I want to use for the boat? I guess, what do we have for wood? I mean, I've already built a ship in this game, so it's not gonna be, I'm not gonna go for anything like super large or anything. But I feel like that's the thing that stood out the most to me. Their ship look kind of like those that you fold out of paper, but with a mast. True. And somehow I'm gonna have to 3Dify it here. If you built a whole ship, not a boat. Extra point for anyone who gets... I do get that reference, Jaguar. So I don't feel like I'm going to make this much very large, rather. I'm just going to pull up an image of that ship so I can see it and have a reference point to go off of. Let's see, there's got to be an image of the ship somewhere. Here we are. Just pop this over here. Set it so I can see chat as well. That works. So it shouldn't have to be too large. So we can kind of pointed like that. So, given that we just talked about, or just played Carto and we were looking at maps, and now we're building this ship in reference to the game. One of the things that popped into my head when we were talking about moving the map in pieces, you know, last week we talked about gentrification as one of the major issues that are going on. But I was thinking a lot about the idea of borders as a whole and how kind of arbitrary some of them are. And how a lot of them don't really tie, especially in this day and age, to specific cultures and specific, identities, what represents a nation and a people, and all of those concepts. The nation state has kind of subsumed all of that. And so when I was thinking about all of that, I was thinking about the idea of borders in an anarchist world. And a lot of times I do like to spend time thinking about the world I'd like to see, because if I don't, I feel like it makes me lose hope. I need to think about what that would look like for me. And so I was thinking about the conception of whether or not the world that I would want to see as an anarchist would have no borders or open borders. And what I basically mean by that is, would it be a world where there are absolutely no boundaries whatsoever and we're able to cross through different areas without any sort of anything? Or would it be ones where borders exist, where there are some sort of predefined boundaries that we create, but we're still able to cross them freely? And I was thinking about that, and I kind of wanted to gauge the community and the chat about what the difference would be. J-Leg says, the question there is also whether it's even possible to draw a definite border between cultures. It all just tends to morph and mix. Like, that's true. But even in a place like a city, right? The city usually has a predefined limit, and you're able to cross in and out of it no problem. Say within the United States, right? You take any major city, Chicago, right? You have Chicago, and then you have its outer suburbs, and you have its outer borders. And we kind of can predefine what Chicago is based on a certain territory and space. But going in and out of it's this free thing that's not even an issue. Even less so than the state lines that are set up. And so I was kind of wondering how that would look in an anarchist world. And what some images some of you might have. And I know that while we're in the current reality that we're in, where nation states are a thing, there's kind of 3 options set up where you can send up autonomous zones within borders and just kind of ignore the state boundaries. You can, which is something that you see kind of in Rojava, and somewhat in the territory of the Zapatistas. You also have the idea of, again, open borders, where you could have a world theoretically where what is seen as states or approximating those states, their borders could just become open, and that would create another level of freedom. And another thing would be to abolish all the states and establish that as well. And I suppose my question is do we then destroy borders just because we destroy the nation state? And what is the nature of that kind of relationship? Duke says administration boundaries make sense in a world where communities exercise self-direction, I think. But yeah, Jalek's culture will definitely not stay within such borders necessarily. I'm in agreement with that, Duke. And that's kind of, I think, where a lot of the questioning came into my head, because I started researching a bit of it. And there seemed to be some, I don't know what the word would be, I guess disagreement, for lack of a better word, about whether the world of an anarchist society would be open borders or no borders at all. And I'm kind of questioning it now. Like, administrative borders do make sense to me on some level. I don't think that you can establish any sort of leftist society or anarchist society by having borders closed in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not even taking that into consideration or advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. Wait, whoa, I do not want that there. I think I want to put this closer to the dock, actually. And just tear this down and work on it a little bit. Maybe make it even a little bit longer, because I need to also have the mast in there. I was just trying to get general shape for it. Gangle says, I think that borders should define themselves as a purely practical tool for navigation and for practical use of an area. Oh, that's a really good point as well, Gangle. Where you could kind of have it set that, you know, the borders would kind of create themselves. I'm also wondering what territorial disputes might even look like in an anarchist world. Would there be any? And what would happen in those cases in terms of, like, jurisdiction? Plus, subdivision even inside communities based on administration seems like a necessity as well, because of Dunbar's number. What are you referencing with Dunbar's number, Jalix? Duke says, I definitely see even cities as confederations of buildings and neighborhoods that coordinate their infrastructure needs. That's true. And, like, in most major cities that I've been to, at the very least, the way that I see neighborhoods divided, it's often you have the building, especially if you have, like, a large apartment building. Then you have the block as kind of the larger essence of that. Then you have the neighborhoods that are sometimes defined very properly, sometimes purposefully, though, to create tension, and sometimes created in specific ways by city planners, historically, often along race lines. You'll often get these communities that cross those lines or don't, depending on the city. And then from there, it's like you have the collection of communities that form together, with somewhat similar cultural interests, and then from that, it expands outward to the city itself. Or little districts within the city, and then finally the city itself. And some of that kind of forms naturally, some of it not so much. Let's see. Jaguar says, can you, Tara, or anyone else here explain to me what demolish the nation state means for anarchists? Because for me, and what I've studied, nations and states and countries are different. So, the nation state, as it's typically defined, is the merging of the idea of the state, the governance of a territory, and again, this changes from anarchist to anarchist. There's a slight variation, but what most anarchists are referring to is usually the idea of combining the nationhood of peoples with the state. And a lot of that comes out of the French Revolution, where instead of having the monarch as the head of state, the nation becomes represented as the embodiment of the state becomes the embodiment of the people, theoretically. And it's kind of a co-opting of culture on one hand, with the idea of the culture and the people being merged together as part of the governmental entity. At least that's how I've understood it kind of defined. And it's the merger of these very large bureaucracies as the state over time. That I think eventually leads to the definition that we have of the nation state. And in a lot of ways, it's a very European concept originally, to have a nation state. Not that there haven't been state governments outside of Europe, or states running societies. I can think of a few, like with dynastic states in particular. But the idea being that the world being made up of nation states is kind of something very modern, very European as far as I understand it. And it's been pushed on the rest of the globe, where a lot of the boundaries of other cultures were specifically ignored to create nation states that benefited a lot of Western power and position. So I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, Jaguar. If anyone else wants to chime in and add to that, please feel free to. It's a very open definition, but that's kind of where I have come at it and learned from it. J-Lake says the maximum amount of social connections a person can have, after which they have problems maintaining them all, it's around 150. That must be a very, very talented person to be able to handle 150 relationships, because I struggle with the amount that I have, and that is nowhere near 150. But I do get what you're saying. There reaches a certain limit in that regard. There's no flag. I could do a few red blocks for that. Because red petals wouldn't sit sideways, I don't think. But I suppose ooh, maybe I could use a red roof. That might work. What kind of roof tiles are there? What colors do we have? It's supposed to be a bright red, but I could probably get away with these. I wonder how that would look. And then I can kind of put it... You know, let me turn on flight. That'll make things a lot easier. Duke says the concept of nation-state was only formalized on the world stage immediately after World War I. I colloquially define it as a state, or at least says that most people who identify with one nation. Yeah, I think that's a good definition of it, Duke. I do agree that on a world stage it was probably formalized about World War I, especially with the fall of certain empires around that time. That said, the concept of the nation state itself is definitely born out of the French Revolution. That's when it was first talked about as the people or the nation being the embodiment of that. My understanding of Dunbar's number means past 150, you can barely remember the people's names, much rather remembering anything about them. I see. Jalek says it's mostly acquaintances. You can have a lot less actual friends. The guys got it from the average size of hunter-gatherer tribes. You know, that makes a lot of sense. Jaguar says, sometimes I get kind of cautious with this type of conversation because I wonder how much First Nations and Native tribes are taken into consideration in the minds of other anarchists. Though I know most people here think about it. I very much consider that, as you know. I think when we're talking about the abolishment of the nation state, the biggest part of that problem is the state. There are ways to organize society that do not involve a state. And so the nation ends up being something very important. Nationalism, to me, at the very least, does not necessarily mean something bad, nor is it a word that I think we should be erasing entirely from our vocabulary. Especially because of the stuff you brought up, Jaguar. The nation that is the people does not necessarily equate to the nation state. And as a matter of fact, as we know, a lot of times it isn't really embodied in that at all. Can I put this sideways? No, I can't put this sideways, so that's not going to work. So I'll just have to build it out of red blocks. It was a good idea. Cyrus says 15th century is where the concept of nations became a thing tied to your language and background. True. At least within European understandings. Gangle says before colonial powers imposed nation-state divisions upon, say, Africa, that continent was probably loosely and organically defined into territories. Europe was originally defined in quite the same way. Exactly. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at with my question, Gangle, where the idea that there would be no borders whatsoever is something that either I'm having difficulty imagining or maybe I don't want to entirely see happen. The idea that we'd have territories, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be open borders by any stretch. Like, I think open borders sounds really good in my head, where this idea that we would have people with these territories that, even if the borders are slightly loosely defined, depending on how that works, the idea that we'd have areas that are kind of understood as one territory or another makes sense in my head, and I just don't know if I'm reaching a point where I'm limited in my capacity to see beyond that, or if that would in some ways be kind of a good thing. Because of the autonomous jurisdictions that Duke was mentioning before. Jalek says, honestly, I do not like nationalism. I haven't seen any good kinds, to be honest. It's very yikesy, but I haven't seen much nationalism of colonized people, which is potentially a good force. Generally, that's what I'm referring to, Jalek, when I say that that nationalism can be, in some ways, a good thing. Wait, I want to do it this way. Because, for example, black nationalism isn't necessarily a bad thing. Having a connection and tie to a piece of land, or being a part of one of the First Nations peoples, like, I wouldn't define any sense of nationalism that they have as necessarily harmful. Cyrus says the idea of state is hard to say because in times of empires, for example, the Prussian Empire, it was more of a security apparatus for other ethnic peoples. Explains why I said empires were diverse. Well, empires are usually diverse, which is kind of antithetical in some ways to the idea of the nation state. there were 2 flags here. So I could do one like that. And then I can build this just a little bit higher. And I can have the other one here. And cap it off here. And then from here I need sails. So I need some sort of white block. Honestly, these do not look bad for that. I think I am going to set this a little bit higher. Like right here, maybe? And then like this. I think that works. Only we want this to kind of come in like a sail. I don't know, that's way smaller than it looks in the game, but I don't know how else I would do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, though. No, I definitely want that bigger, though. I have an idea. We can go 2, and then 2 like that, 2 like that, and then 2 like that. And then here will be 3, 2, 2, and then 1 on both sides. And then we'll come up and we'll add the red flag in. And the second red flag. And then just get this a little bit higher. There we go, we have our little boat. I like it. I don't know if you do, but I feel like it just serves its purpose. And the last touch that I would want is the boat actually has a very visible bar in the center across here for sitting. So there we go. Our token to having completed Carto. Let me catch up with what you all were saying. King Cyrus says the idea of this, I think I read that. Yeah, I did. Gangle, I live in a country that was loosely defined about 1,000 years ago, as in we Danes live here, Germans live down there, Swedes over there. Cyrus says, again, in times of the ancient period, we had open borders technically. Ancient Egyptians allowed Greek colonists into North Africa with permission from peoples living in said area. This debunks the idea of colonialism apologists that Europeans couldn't do the same. Europeans didn't do said thing, they just conquered and seized the land without anyone's permission or indigenous people's permission. That is very good addition and true, King Cyrus. Now that we have finished this ship and Carto is essentially complete, I want to set up moving in to getting a portal created for Underhero. But that's the thing, right, King Cyrus? A lot of the things that you mentioned, like empires have had open borders before. So open borders are not not even an issue, but these loosely defined territories, it's something that I don't think we can even get rid of if we were in like an anarchist society. If the world itself were to become anarchist right now, would we have completely eliminated borders, or would we still have this idea that there are open borders in that sense? I guess that's where I'm kind of exploring with that. Underhero Jalix is a game that kind of combines the idea of a platformer with almost a Paper Mario-esque combat system. And the plot of the game centers around you playing as a character who served the big bad, and the hero shows up, and you actually are the one to defeat the hero. And then queue in the game, if I'm understanding correctly. So I'm kind of intrigued at that conception of us playing as someone who served the villain. King Cyrus, what were you saying yes in reference to? Gangle says the division I described was really mostly practical, and that those other countries have different languages and habits. Germans do this, we do that. Not better, just different. Yeah, and I'm fine with something like that, Gangle. That sounds pretty ideal to me. And I imagine that in a lot of other parts of the world, especially in peaceful situations, you'd have nomadic groups going through different territories and regions, where you had peoples that had settled into territories, just letting people through. And it wasn't an issue. Jalix, I know you had said that you might have some interesting things to add about the conversation about borders, so if you have anything else you want to add, from your perspective in Germany, I'm definitely down to listen to all of that. So I'm thinking for the portal, since the Underhero character kind of wears like this mask, I was thinking about creating like a little version of the mask. I imagine Africa worked exactly the same until it was colonized. I'd imagine something similar, though I could not tell you specifically. Like, I don't have enough understanding of the history to specifically say on that. Duke says, Gangle, to me it makes sense. I think nations that are real and can even be a base for various cooperation. I just don't think that should be what we organize under and give a monopoly force. That makes a lot of sense, Duke. Though if you wanted to elaborate on that, I would very much like to hear it. No one was asking for papers in the city of Babylon. Yeah, I mean, eliminating the idea of papers is kind of obvious to me. This is why, to me, like, the idea that you can be a leftist and be like, oh, I want borders and I want to have established nations, like, I don't think that works. I don't think the idea of being able to, quote-unquote, protect your territory in quite that way makes sense to me. But the idea that there are cultural norms that more or less occur in this area, or we follow traditions in this area, does make a lot more sense to me. And the type of nationalism I'm talking about is not tied specifically to your papers or your identification. Jaguar says some First Nations function that in that way as well, where you had a community that was made up of a nation or tribe, and then they were in communication with one another, inter-community and inter-nation. This is simplified. Yeah. I don't think it's also a surprise that when I've researched into this, that a lot of the formulation of a lot of anarchist thoughts on this regard kind of are born out of a very similar conception. I don't think that's a coincidence historically. Duke says freedom of movement is a very ancient thing. It's actually an aberration in history for periods where it doesn't exist. That's really, really on point. I think people forget how common it was also for people to move from nation state to nation state, even as they were first forming. Um, you would often have people go and fight wars in other parts of the planet, and it wasn't considered to be that big of an issue. For example, and wars are just one example, but it was not impossible for people to easily move from territory to territory. And you're absolutely right to point out that these ideas of borders and rigid boundaries and the security of the state with the monopoly of violence is kind of an aberration. It's something that's very new. So I am just pulling up the image of the mask for a reference. I think this makes sense as a portal. The mask of the protagonist that we're going to play as. So it's kind of got this purple hue around it. So do we have anything purple? We do. So I think we can use the blue glowing blocks to make the outer part of the portal. And then we can have a series of purple to kind of give that shadowy effect that we were looking at. I'll go with brick. Brick works. And then I want some sort of white block. I could just reuse these. That works for me. And then we need something black for the eye and mouth slots. So this could work, the metal grid blocks. I think that works. So where do we want to place this? Jalek says a lifestyle lefties under which she puts anybody who thinks LGBTQ plus A in racial matters or something worth talking about. A lot of the more progressive parts of Dailink. She thinks that focusing on these cultural issues is pushing away the more rural working people who don't have time to read up on gender studies. Oh, I know what you're talking about. We do have similar leftists in the US. They just that pure class reductionist mentality. So it's more tangibly related to borders, though, to be honest. She's against the open position of Dailink to open up borders and decriminalize movement, so there's that. But it's mostly a bunch of conservative talk. She's basically a class reductionist. Yeah. Oh, your monologue started a bit earlier. Let me go back up. I didn't realize so much had moved on. There's a big divide in the left party, spearheaded by a politician named Sarah Wagenknecht. I'm so sorry, my German. I have no knowledge of how to pronounce German. A really, really popular politician in the party who's rallying against immigration. Okay, that makes far more sense. I missed that line, so thank you for pointing me back there. Duke mentioned the soldier of 3 armies. Yes, King Cyrus says, Jalix, that argument, she made that claim. Oh my god, I hate this argument. It implies that somehow rural Americans are the true Americans. It's highly problematic, Jalix, I agree. Yeah, there's that appeal to, oh, the rural workers are, you know, the real working class of the country, and that anybody who works outside of no, like, it also insults the intelligence, honestly, of rural peoples. Honestly, like, to me at least. And it almost speaks to an anti-intellectualism as well. I don't know, it's kind of bizarre to me. Especially because, I mean, half of the theory is supposed to be, at least within anarchist theory, if you go into anything Kropotkin related, what's the main thing that we're talking about? Protecting farmers and the interests there as well, and making sure that there's bread for the revolution. So, like, yeah, they need to be on board with what's going on. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense to me. She's intentionally dividing Dailings so they can't win enough votes to get past the 5% they need to get into the Bundestag. Oh, that's frustrating. It's so frustrating. Rural areas have LGBTQ plus people too. Yeah. Rural people are not like a monolith. Bread, aka from wheat. Exactly. Rural people are not a monolith. They aren't all cis, straight, you know, heterosexual peoples. They're not all one race. They come from multiple different backgrounds, multiple different histories and stories and narratives. So, like, what is even the driving point behind all of that? This area looks good to make the mask portal. I think I'm gonna use this area. Jalix, she sounds like an op. She really does. And the idea of, oh, we can create some sort of anarchist or, you know, communistic paradise, but within one nation and one strict boundary and border, doesn't usually sit well with me. And I'm not saying that during the transitional period that it won't be within certain borders or boundaries or territories. Nothing like that. I'm not critiquing that, for example. But, like, to actually reach true communism, it's gonna have to be an international and global movement, as far as I'm concerned. The idea shouldn't be, oh, well, you know, it's only gonna be in this territory. It should be literally something that we try to make happen globally for all peoples to have their autonomy. And not based on, say, one territory's idea of it. She didn't like people coming here and using the resources here. That is such a conservative argument. I mean, if you really want to break it down, first of all, immigration always improves the territory. Always. Something's happening in the village. Oh, it's the spooky festival. This is the perfect time for Underhero. Communism in one nation was a thing Stalin made up to justify what to consolidate the USSR while it was under attack on all fronts. Yeah, I know. It's just, when it comes to stuff like that, Duke, I think the fact that that still gets credence as, like, a valid thing and a necessary thing bothers me. Again, I'm not saying that consolidating ourselves in one area for a period of time or protecting boundaries, especially when capitalism would love to just come in and use propaganda and tools to eliminate and infiltrate a lot of different areas, right? Like, I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect in the transition process. And I'm not even saying that it's necessarily wrong that it'll happen within specific territories at once. But to establish boundaries and borders on it and say that this is the nation of people that this is going to happen to seems very bizarre to me in the way that it manifests. Again, I'm not a statist, so take that as you will. I know where that's coming from. Did I miss anything? Cyrus says black farmers exist, for example, yet in the US the ideal is the white guy. Yeah, it's always the stereotype of the white farmer with the overalls, and he's always a guy and the farm and all that stuff. Stalin wasn't wrong, but Trotsky was also right. Could you elaborate on Trotsky being correct in that regard? I would definitely appreciate that. Let's make this mask, though, while we are doing this. So we're going to want to establish, like, a circular shape. Let's do it over here. This works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to want to put the purple right inside. And for circular, I'm just going to do something like hexagonal like I've been doing. I think that works pretty well. And then we'll make the white part of the mask. Jalek says, and the green's about 16. Oh, let me see. Oh, King Cyrus, I missed some of your comments. Let me back up. Hold up. So rural workers can't read up on gender studies. That's basically anti-intellectualism claim. Yeah, that's what I had said before. Ronald Reagan in the US would pull this shit all the time about rural workers while in the same breath buying into neoliberalism full force. Exactly. It's such a neoliberal ploy to kind of pit the rural peoples as, like, the backbone of everything and the manifestation of anti-intellectualism. Just because you live in a rural area does not mean that you are somehow anti-intellectual, as far as I'm concerned, at the very least. Jalix said her point there is that she didn't like people coming in and claiming the resources. It's actually really weird and convoluted. But, like, she published a book. But overall, the election can end quite good regardless in Germany. The SPD, the Social Democrats, currently have about 25% of the predicted votes. The Greens have about 16%, so I'd say the left can get a few more votes. We could have a ruling coalition like in Portugal. So yeah, the next few weeks are going to be quite stressful politically in Germany. I've been thinking about doing canvassing for Die Link, to be honest, on the phone, though. When is the election, Jalix? Because I am going to be honest with you, I know nothing about German politics and policies and what's going on in the elections. And I do appreciate you keeping us up to date with that, honestly. It's been really nice to be able to get that insider information into that and not just have to rely on the news all the time for stuff when they often don't give the full story, especially when it comes to leftist stuff. Duke says Trotsky Stalin falling out was ostensibly over the argument that Trotsky wanted to spread the revolution to other countries, and Stalin wanted communism in one country. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Trotsky's position definitely makes more sense there. Even in the short term, if Stalin had been theoretically correct to consolidate, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have been trying to spread communism to other countries and trying to rely on the populace in other countries. When it's imagined in Hearts of Iron 4, for example, to have the anarchist revolution spread, it's usually done in kind of that way. And it's kind of how I envision it at the very least. 1, 2... where you'd get the anarchists in different areas to support one another to overthrow the change of their respective regions and add more autonomous zones to the collective as a whole that would all kind of have their own cultural understandings and perspectives coming in. And as long as you had open borders as a major policy, there's no reason why that would be an issue at all for each area to kind of have its own autonomy. Jalix says it ends on the 28th. You can already send in mailed votes, though. Honestly, I have to get over my social anxiety and find a group somewhere. Cyrus says German politics I know about, but I lost track of it after COVID. I try to be knowledgeable of all places. I try to be as knowledgeable as possible, Cyrus, but there's only so much I can keep up with as one person. Unfortunately. And with a lot of the conflicts, the major ones that have been happening as of late, it's been difficult to maintain knowledge in all the different areas. At least for me. I don't know how people do it sometimes, where they can keep up with every single news event. It just, it gets overwhelming and a little exhausting sometimes, as far as I'm concerned. And the US, especially right now, has become such a nightmare in terms of what's going on, in terms of the lack of functionality of the politics, I guess, for lack of a better phrasing. That it's just been very exhausting trying to keep up with the US itself and the different perspectives and territories and regions of the US, especially when you're keeping up with local stuff in different areas. Duke says the problem was right. The problem was right while the Germans were having a communist uprising. Oh yeah, no, you're 100% right with that, Duke. I forgot about that. That timing with Trotsky and Stalin was around the time of the German uprisings. I think there should be a lot to learn from anarchist Catalonia about organically grown autonomous communities. I think Catalonia has a lot to teach us. I think the Zapatistas have a lot to teach us. I know they don't specifically define themselves as anarchist, but I think there's a lot there for us to learn. And I don't even need everybody to strictly define as anarchists. I'm not uptight about that. As long as it's the same kind of principles, whatever. I'm not bothered by the word, you know? If it's not 100% up to the same wording, it's not the biggest deal to me. Rojava is another one that we really need to look at. And I think we need to look at any other autonomous collective that has formed in recent history to do that. I think a lot of indigenous communities can also be very good to learn from, as Jaguar would point out as well, I'm sure. I just think that as long as you're doing that, you can't play it as the stereotypical imperial understanding of things, where you come in and you try to be like, oh, well, the Native Americans did this, and therefore everything is perfect, and, you know, the whole mythos of the noble savage. You got to avoid that as much as possible. But that doesn't mean there isn't stuff you can learn from all of that information. One, two, three on the diagonal. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll have that. And then we go up one more, I think. Toby Gaming and more, welcome. Okay, we have that. Let me catch up with anything I may have missed in chat. Cyrus says, facts, I'm not a Batman polymath and all. And the US is getting absurd. That's cause the collapse of neoliberalism is being felt everywhere in the United States and its policies. Yeah, it really is. And the unfortunate reality is that because of how Eurocentric a lot of, how American exceptionalism and the idea that America's like the greatest thing ever kind of permeates the world, um, it's kind of an unfortunate reality that we have to pay attention to the US because what the US does and how US policy functions ends up having more of an effect than it should on the rest of the world. And that's going to mean that US policy ends up unfortunately being uh largely important to everyone else. So that kind of looks like the mask. Let me then make the mouth opening. Do I want that to be 3 or 5? Let me see how that looks. And then I want to make the eye holes. Let's start it there. Let's see how that looks. That's not gonna work. Let me fill that in. And let me do something like this. That'll work better. For anyone who's looked at the Underhero mask, does that kind of look like it to you? And it kind of would have this like purple outline on the horns. I don't know if I'll keep the purple outline, but let's see how that looks. I don't think I like the purple outline. I'm gonna get rid of that outside purple. Oh, did I make this one too high on this side? I did. That. There we go. I kinda like that. The only thing is that the eyes for it are more like this. Oh no, wrong color. I think that looks like it. That, to me, really looks like the mask from the game. So we've got our portal to the next game. So let me catch up with chat, and then we can head into the next game, and we can start Underhero for a bit. What did I miss? What did I miss? Duke says, I appreciate the info from people in other countries, too. Even my understanding of US politics really needs you folks to help me understand. Yeah, those of you who are in, other countries have definitely been a help in that regard for me as well to keep up with it. Sometimes it's really difficult when you're in one area that you kind of learn your own local politics, and then you need to kind of go into other areas, and it's like it's all connected, but you can't really keep track of everything, and the local stuff is really where you can do the most change anyway. Even in a place like the US, which is so large, your local area is going to be where you can affect the most change. So even like learning about the policies from across the country, if you're on the East Coast and you want to learn about the West Coast, the policies can be vastly different. And that's with a very similar government essentially running things. But culturally, a lot of things can be different. The effects can be different as well. So when you're talking about politics across the globe, it's hard to keep up with without having people in the region really direct you and talk to you about everything. Duke says there's a quote from a Canadian Prime Minister comparing living beside the US as Canada as being like a mouse sleeping beside an elephant, no matter how gentle and good-natured the elephant might be. The mouse must be mindful of every twitch and move. That is surprisingly accurate to how I feel like a lot of the world has to deal with US policy. The undue influence that the US has over the global policies and global positions on things, and the way that US media essentially uses its capital, especially right-wing media, to manipulate other governments and manipulate the policies in other areas, and even manipulate how certain individuals think, is still very absurd to me. Anytime the equivalent of Fox News can get its hands on another country, they end up influencing the populace at least somewhat. Jaguar says the US has been laughed at by most of the world for a while now. True. True. And even in that regard, they still dictate policy in places. But the odd thing is, even when the conservatives who share a lot of their philosophy with the US laugh at it, but the conservatives in Germany are a weird topic in general. Jaguar says, cool mask replication. Thank you. And Jalix had said that it looked pretty good. Duke says we have something similar in Canada. Jalix, here it comes from a weird, unreflective, smug superiority towards the US, I assume as a coping mechanism for being in a smaller country. Yeah, Duke, from what I've heard, Canada kind of has that mentality of, well, at least we're not the US. And that's not the first time I've heard that from what you're describing. So with that said, and with us caught up with chat while we keep talking about this, I am going to move us into Underhero for the first part. So let me teleport us out, as it were. And we will go into Underhero and start checking that out for about an hour. Duke says US media is so pervasive here. We have anti-mask protests in Toronto. A decent amount of people will be carrying American flags, which is just bizarre. I do not trust when I see protests in other countries with the American flag. I assume that those are staged, for lack of a better word. Not that the people involved aren't there voluntarily, but I always question when I see the US flag in other countries in that capacity. Gangle says, I watched a video by Renegade Cut today that gave me a better understanding of American conservatism. Weaponizing patriotism. I highly recommend it. Let me see. How long ago did Renegade Cut put that out? Before I pop into the next game. Weaponizing patriotism. Is that a new one? Oh, yeah. That came out about 3 weeks ago. I remember seeing that. Yeah, the unfortunate reality is the way Fox News and like people like Tucker Carlson work, and the way that a lot of the conservative media spreads. It's Murdoch, right? That has Fox News. There was a study, I think, that had said something to the effect of every area of the world that has a Murdoch-based media source has a much more conservative leaning and bend. And they can defend themselves from getting sued because they will just lie and say, well, how could anybody believe our ridiculous positions? We're just an entertainment company. We're not actually a news source. And that's how they get away with a lot of it. And every nation that has a Murdoch-based oh, I did not. Okay, we're gonna need a few minutes for Underhero to load in. So just bear with me a few minutes. We'll just talk for a bit while that finishes doing what it's doing. It shouldn't take long, though. But yeah, every time you have a Murdoch-based media source, you end up with a situation where a lot of conservatism thrives in the region. I want to see if I can find that study so I can... Murdoch media creates conservatives. It was something like that. Here's one. A former Republican congressman has blamed Murdoch's media outlets for fueling climate rejectionism among conservatives. Not the one I was thinking of. But wherever you get Murdoch media, you end up getting that type of conservatism. Jacobin magazine put out an article about this too, apparently. Oh, there we go. Game is ready. Yes, I would like Steam to do its thing and let the game play. What do we have here? Duke says, imagine if the people on January 20th had some French flags. That's how bizarre it would be. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, can you imagine the inauguration of, like, a president to see flags from all the different countries? Or just, like, one specific country with a massive amount of flags? It's really bizarre. Germany has something similar to the Murdoch newspaper called Die Bild, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That is the game just loading up. If you hear a weird buzzing sound. Warning, certain moments in this game contain flashing lights and or imagery that may cause discomfort or seizures for those with photosensitive epilepsy. Okay, good to know. I don't want anybody getting ill from watching the game. Let me switch to the gaming screen so you can all see. There we go. Now I need to just shift which screen this is on. Options. Okay. I want you to full screen on the other screen. Can you let me do that? We always have to have a little bit of technical difficulties with the new game. Oh, apparently there's a trick to do that. Bear with me one moment. We will... Let me try this. It did not work. Let me try it now. Got it. You said music seems a little high relative to my voice. Okay, I will fix that now that I've gotten things on the correct monitor. Okay. Load up options. Let's lower the music. How's that? Is that a little better? Gangle says conservatives monopolize the meaning of what it is to be American. To be American means to have the values of the conservatives. Un-American is anything not conservative. Exactly. And that's the thing Renegade Cut also had covered in that video, which was really well done. Everything Renegade Cut does is amazing. Duke says, my issue with Jacobin is every article's a novella. I don't have that kind of time. One up? Let's try one up. Okay. Are we good on sound? I like that. That sounds good to me on my end. This music is chill. Like it. A little somber. Oh. We can be employee number 1. Gangle says a tad lower on the music. Alright, let's try that. Let's go back to that. We can always adjust probably in-game, so... Employee number 1. Use this file? Yes. What is your name? What Terrapun do we want to use? Do we have any good ones? Let's see if anybody in chat's got any good names for this. I'm trying to think myself. Minion Terra. Minion Terra. It does not fit. I was thinking like terrible, since I'm technically part of the villain organization. Like terrible. What do we think of that? Since Minion Terra does not exist. On the puns, yeah. Terrible? Okay. We are officially terrible. Long ago, there were tales about a distant land known only as the Chestnut Kingdom. Generations of princesses were kidnapped by the great evils and their underlings. Heroes emerged across the ages to rescue the princesses and save their kingdom from impending doom. Aided by a legendary weapon, the Chosen Ones battled the vile creatures and were rewarded with magical stones, the symbols of a true hero. With immense courage, these legendary heroes defeated the evil villains and saved their kingdom every single time. But this is but one of those stories. Heroes Road, final hallway. We're finally here. Looks like this is it, Scarf Boy. Our final battle. Time to save the princess and the Chestnut Kingdom. Let's go. So we're a level 99 hero with 9,999 HP. Normal health condition. Doing some basic platforming. We go through the door. Okay, listen up, you two. Lord Stitches gave us the honor of protecting this hallway. The hero will have to pass through us before he can reach the boss, so this is our chance to defeat him. You do realize we're just cannon fodder, right? I mean, we don't stand a chance against that monster. We're just here to, like, drop some potions or something. Well, we're not gonna win with that attitude. Emo McGee, jeez. Hey you, yes you, the quiet one back there. You have anything to say? You what? Listen here, you freak. That plan of yours, never ever gonna work. Why do I always end up with the weirdos? Ugh. Okay, everyone to your posts. He'll be here any moment. Try to keep up, freak. So here we are, playing as the Scarf Hero, running through. Prepared to meet the masked void worm. Wow, that was awful. What does that even mean? You illiterate fool, I was being poetic. We are the masked ones, and we will send him to the void. As in dead. I hope he kills me first so I don't have to listen to any more of your poetry. Ugh, whatever, bro. Say, weren't we supposed to be a trio? Oh no. I am a level 1 with 40 HP. Normal health condition. Is someone there? Come here, you. Yes, you. You gotta help me. Let me out of here, or else. I'll just keep annoying you. Nah, I'm out. Nope, not listening to you. Nope. I'm just testing to see how much of the game will let me get away with. No. It's a but thou must. Okay. Listen to me. Thank you. I thought I was done for. Oh no. It's one of you creeps. Let go of me. Scarfy, they got me help. Kid? Scarf boy? Talk to me, kid. Kid? I can't believe this. He's dead. Who did this? Is this the end? Has evil finally won? Someone's coming. Okay, listen. I'm sorry I called you a creep, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need your help. You cannot tell anyone about me, okay? Just take us somewhere safe, and someplace we can talk. Hide me, please. You found a talking hilt and 3 important-looking stones. What's all that ruckus over there? Did the hero arrive? Hey, what's going on? Here, did you just do what I think you did? I must take you to Mr. Stitches immediately. We must continue. Mr. Stitches awaits. Look, save your questions for later. The boss needs to know what you did. You're straight up sabotaging me now. I'm just gonna ignore you from now on. Ignores you. I can see the type of humor this game is gonna have. A snack? Do we step? Not yet. Oh, just your standard princess in a cage. You know, typical video game fare. Princess Cereza? Listen here, fiend. I know I'm pretty, but you better back off. Very well written women right here. Or I'm going to get aggressive when I get out of here. Hey, I can float. Mr. Stitches has a lot of yarn balls back there. You think Mr. Stitches is a cat? Sir, I have wonderful news. Mr. Stitches, sir? Yes? I was playing hide and seek with the princess. Right. Sir, this minion right here just, spit it out, you fool. This minion just killed the hero. I saw it myself. Is that so? I have no need for you now. Leave this place. And do not come back. Oh. Okay. Tell me, did anyone else witness this deed? No, sir, I was the only one. I came here as fast as I could, my lord. Oh, good. Good. Sir? Why? Sir? Huh, how peculiar. Do not worry, Masked One. I will not harm you. On the contrary, my dear underling. I have a special task for you. Yes, quite an important mission, you see. I believe you have heard of the Triviality Stones, yes? I do like this humor. Oh, so you found them in the hero's belongings. Good. My 3 top-ranking officers are tasked with protecting these stones. Their mission is to let the hero take the stones when they are defeated. Now that the hero is no more, I need you to take these stones back to their owners across the Chestnut Kingdom. This could be quite an adventure. If you do this for me, you will be rewarded, handsomely of course. Here, the stone belongs to the Moth Queen. She resides in a very tall tree in the Moth Forest. After you are done, come back to me to receive the next stone. And do make haste. We never know when a new hero might arrive. Oh, and before you leave, bear in mind that this is a secret mission. Snitches get stitches. I wonder what happened to the legendary weapon of the hero. She must have escaped in the confusion. It's quirky and makes me slightly uneasy. This is such a role reversal of how the story's supposed to go, as it were, that it does feel as if you're really uncomfortable, but in a good way. It knows what it's doing, and I appreciate that much about it, Jalix. Duke says it's the reverse of a normal RPG. Exactly. You know, you're supposed to be the hero at this point, stopping the villain with the 3 mighty artifacts of, you know, whatever, but now you have to return them. You're literally setting up the next game, as it were. So she was not there, huh? I trust you, Masked One. You would not lie to your boss, right? See you soon, and good luck. So now we head off on our adventure. That was too close for my taste. Maybe we shouldn't have the sword pop out right next to the minion here on our secret mission, just saying. Jaguar says, I totally agree. I love that they're playing with the tropes. Exactly. I think that's really the point of the game, right? You have this expectation of the standard of the story and how it's supposed to unfold, and this is just playing with that narrative. And I love when things do that, especially video games. Video games, I think, are a very good medium to subvert expectations. One, there's enough of an established history, but 2, there's so much that can be done with a genre that we don't often see. And, you know, playing with honestly, the hardware itself as well is a thing that I wish more video games would do. Not that this game's doing that, but just there's a lot of ways you can play with the medium and the interactivity of where the game begins and ends. A lot of the horror genre has done that as of late. But with this, to see it subverting the tropes is very nice. They think you killed my hero. Ha. There's no way someone like you could have done that. Except I did. But enough of that. This is your home, huh? Not too shabby, all things considered. Pretty cozy, actually. But still, we're not safe in here. You must have a place you call your own, right? Take us there so we can talk. The dungeon map for directions is right behind you. It really is. Also, the voices remind me of Animal Crossing Speak. Oh yeah, good point. I hadn't thought of that. I'll hide in here with your items while we travel. You do know how to check your items, right? I don't know anything. I was terrible at my job, and I'm terrible at this. How do you even function? Whatever, to open up your items menu, just press the back button. There must be a clue there about how to find your place. Let's see, we have a journal. We have Elizabeth IV. A magical hilt that can change between different weapons, also your adventure companion. We have our apartment key, which is the first floor, apartment A. And we have the forest stone. It's the first of the triviality stones that we have to bring back to the Moth Queen. Let's see, prologue. I found a talking hilt today. She said her name is Elizabeth the Fort. I don't know what fort means, but it sounds important. She asked me to hide her. Mr. Stitches ordered me to deliver a green stone to the Moth Queen. She lives in a tall tree in World 1. Elizabeth told me to find a quiet place so we could talk. My apartment's close. I hope I'm still carrying my key. It should be in my items menu. Elizabeth doesn't know what I did to the hero. What I did, Never mind. We have this map here. We have the apartments down there, the theater, the save portals, the cafeteria, and the hero's road. This is Dr. Yamatano. Greetings, Mass Child. I have a good tip for you, so listen carefully. Notice that speech bubble above me. That means I can be talked to. Most folks in the castle will have more than one thing to say, too. Don't forget to double check. If someone doesn't have a speech bubble, that means they're busy with other things, like a patrolling. Very rude if you ask me. So, in order to tell me that I had a speech bubble, an obedient minion is a happy minion. So we're working for the bad guy for reals. So to tell me that how the speech bubbles work, I had to already know how the speech bubbles work. That's funny. You're a fast learner. If you happen to be in a hurry, you can also hold down the continue button to fast forward dialogue. But that would be quite rude. So they're patrolling. This way leads to the main castle. I am under strict orders from Lord Stitches not to let anyone pass this point. Fair enough. This way to Hero's Road. Top floor castle elevator, Mr. Stitch's chamber. My memory is terrible. Sometimes I even forget where I live. But checking my items menu always refreshes my memory. Oh, hey. Wow, you came from up there? That means you were with the boss just now. This way to the theater. Can we go to the theater? We can. Stitch Castle Theater. I guess there's nothing here yet. Also, I kind of love that looks kind of like the curtain in Mario Brothers 3. If anybody's... I mean, I'm sure people here have played that, at least some of you. Right? Know what I'm talking about with the curtain in that game? Let's see. So that's that. Heath, welcome to the chat. I hope you're having a lovely Sunday. You were thinking the same thing? Yeah, it really did look like that same curtain. My daughter, Frankie, was promoted to be the official assistant of Mr. Stitches. The one in Paper Mario as well. Yeah, that's true. I was thinking specifically of the one in Mario 3, though. During the beginning screen, the curtain falls down after Mario and Luigi do their little antics on the stage. As a father, I couldn't be more proud. Isn't it great to travel through portals to other places? I always end up all fuzzy after a portal trip. The good kind of fuzzy. This way to save station and portal chambers. Hold it right there, sugar. You know I can't let you go any further without your employee card. Huh? You don't remember where you left it? Relax, honey. I'm sure you'll find it. Let's see. Have you checked inside your room by any chance? That's where I would keep it. Okay, we cannot go there yet. This way to Cafeteria and Minion Syndicate HQ. Up ahead, to the left, is the cafeteria. You can have a nice lunch before heading out on patrol. Don't mind if I do. The hero entered the main castle not so long ago. He's probably fighting Lord Stitches right about now. Do you think the boss will beat him this time? I just came back from the Moth Queen's domain. It's so peaceful there, isn't it? Oh right, masked kids are usually tasked with protecting the castle. So you don't know much about the outside world, right? I recently got promoted to mini-boss because of my special coloring and size. That's funny. That's funny. Because you always have that trope where, you know, the boss is a different color version of the same enemy. Oh, that's really funny. Or they're like a big version of the enemy. If you want to be like me, just hit the gym and get some sprayed. I'm not paid enough to talk. Order something or get out. That's real. Did you know? Lord Stitches wasn't always a beefcake like he is today. Apparently, goes to show you that with a good diet and exercise, anyone can become hot. Okay. Oh yes, this is so flipping good. Send help. What do we want? Better salary, better food. Fedoras. When do we want it? Wait, what? Fedoras, I say. Is this a union? Are they forming a union? We are the most transparent union in the kingdom. Smiles. Don't you trust this smile, bub? We are most transparent union in the kingdom. In the law of Lord Stitches we trust, until we don't. And then we riot. Heck yeah! Except this is happening on company property, which means that it's probably one of those company unions that they're being created to actually squash the actual rebellion. I really hope he defeats him. I can't stand those pretentious silent heroes. Oh, you're the silent type, aren't you, This is so awkward. Okay. Union organizing, though, if I did that in the cafeteria, most companies would just have everyone arrested since I think they've been made illegal. Well, let's head to our apartment. We need to go, according to our key, to first floor apartment A. But I'm gonna go to the wrong floor. I'm gonna go to the 6th floor. Crossfade everything. I'm juggling a lot of things right now, says a multitasker. So you can imagine the kind of stress I'm under. A programmer. The sun. I have forgotten how it feels. An artist. I'm making pretty pictures. Go away. This is cute. Boo. Gone. Oh. Welcome to the fan art gallery. Enjoy all the submissions for the contest. What is that made of? How much you want to bet each of those are based off stack from the game? Probably true. I would bet that that's probably the case. I'm kind of glad I decided to look on these different floors. Because that seems like a nice hidden Easter egg. Let's head to the 5th floor. Nothing? Scram. I like this wallpaper. It's sophisticated and nice on the eyes. Green is my favorite color. Oh, like this one. Okay, same thing. Nope. So this is definitely going to be the type of game that rewards you for exploring. So we'll just go down the floors and make our way. Did you see what she was wearing? Oh my gosh, like so gross. Like private conversation? Yeah, like bug off or something. Some people, I tell you. Ooh. You found a potion. Okay. Nothing's been happening when I knocked twice on any of the doors, unfortunately. Third floor, here we come. Beep. Greetings, fellow minion. I am Marco, your workspace colleague. I was created inside the castle. My mission is to monitor these recreational spaces. Please continue as normal. Beep. How about you bother next door, huh? Cool. I'm trying to bother next door. Yo. So I have a question. Are you knocking on every single door? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm that person. Knock that door again, and oh boy, I'm really gonna repeat myself. That's funny. Try next door. Close, but no, wrong floor. Why don't you go somewhere else? Try going somewhere else. Is there like a pattern of knocking on the doors that will unlock something? Not so long ago I dared that slug guy to a race. He got a little carried away and bumped his head really hard. Needless to say, he might have a slight concussion. At least he can't remember it was my fault. Oh yeah, I saw that one. Wrong room. What the? Where the heck am I? Who are you? Who am I? Oh, thank goodness, you gotta help me. Stupid ghost locked me in here and stole my key. Could you go find the key somewhere in the world too? I have a nice little chest here for you if you help me get out of here. So I can't actually knock on this door for 2G because of this, Alright, down to the first floor. We're in 1A. So naturally, we're gonna go to 1H first. Psst, you. Yeah, you. If you want to know any rumors, I'm your guy. I hear this one from my cousin's second wife's neighbor. In the most gossipy apartment floor, there's one vacant room with some treasure inside. That one floor left me a little perplexed. Ta-da. Some say that you can find a room full of gold and treasure somewhere in the Moth Queen's big tree. It's crawling with strong foes. Beware. Ta-da. I read in some online forum that you can use projectiles to distract certain enemies. I haven't tried this one myself, but... Let's see what you have to say. I'm a creature of the night. I love dim places like these hallways. Oh. I don't get close to floor 6 though, too spooky for me. Maybe like the door beside the snail, you gotta get something later to make a move. That's what I'm thinking. Is that my pizza? No. Stay away then. No, this is not your room. Please stop knocking. This is apartment 1D. Just check your room number and your room key. Easy stuff, stranger. Now stop bothering me. There's no one here. Hey. The place looks safe enough, I guess. Alright, greetings. My name is Elizabeth IV, and I am a magical hilt. I have chosen you as my companion to free this world of evil. Do you accept your destiny as the chosen hero of legend? That's it, good enough, I guess. I did give you the short speech. The long one is at least 8,000 words longer. So, what's your name? Are you a girl or... Right, how about this? I'll just call you Kid. Cool? Very well, Kid. We have no time to lose if we want to defeat that Stitches guy. He might look goofy, but he is the evil king after all. What? Of course we have to fight him. Didn't you see what he did to his own minion? He's obviously going to get rid of you once you finish that mission of his. Ooh. That's some, that's kind of how capitalism works, isn't it? You know, once you finish the mission for your boss and you're no longer relevant, bye. Calm down, we can do this. You have me, after all. One thing you must know, though. When I change bearers, I lose all my powers, so we need to train and get strong enough to defeat Mr. Stitches. Here's what I propose. We play along with Stitches' mission so he doesn't suspect a thing. True, that mission never ends, of course. Well, it does when you eventually are, you know, fired or, you know, too old to continue on and you're forced to retire and then get no actual pension in this day and age. We don't play along with Stitch's mission, he doesn't suspect a thing. Or we play along with the mission, then he won't suspect a thing. We'll fight with all the bosses and we'll become stronger together. Help me defeat him, kid. Fine, and you can take all his coins after we're done with that. Yay! Alright. Now, there's gotta be a way you minions move between worlds, right? I mean, you guys always get there first, somehow. Let's get going, kid. To the forest. Wait. One last thing. If you want to talk about the place where we are currently in, just press the LT button. Try not to bother me so often. You found your employee card. Well, this place is just sad to look at. But hey, you've got a bed, that's something, right? Right. A reminder that the key to motivating people to address their material conditions. True. Very true, Duke. Wow, this place is crowded. Are you gonna talk to every one of these freaks? Well, wake me up when you're done. Jeez. It's a big thing I already did that. Will they let me on Heroes Road now, or no? Okay, that's probably to make sure you don't go to, like, the end of the game areas first, so you're forced to, like, go back through the areas. Whoa, slow down, sweetie. Looks like you got your employee card. You forgot how to use it? No worries, it's super simple. If you wish to save your progress, start by talking to me. You have to pay a small fee, of course. Don't worry, honey. It's a one-time only fee to unlock this location, then it's free forever. So after paying, just head towards that green box over there and press the X button. And presto, your progress has been saved. How about we give it a try? Come a little closer and talk to me. Would you like to unlock the machine? Would you like to pay the fee? It's 5 coins. All done, sugar. Now go to the green box to my right and save your progress. Game is saved. That coffee over there restores your life and spirit with just 1 cup, just like in real life. And best of all, it's completely free. Our portals are made to look like your average pitfall, so it's the perfect hiding spot for them. You know, since most peeps avoid pitfalls, like the plague. Now I kinda wish I had made the portal in Staxel just a giant pit. That would have been funny, if I had known that was like that. Have some complimentary coffee on the house. Don't worry, sugar, it's on the house. I told that going in reverse was a deep philosophy for me. In order to impress some girls, he can't stop going backwards now. And I can't stop laughing. Going in reverse is not just a form of moving, it's a new philosophy or something. So I started doing it to look smarter. We have a great selection of potions, upgrades, magic anvils, and more. So this is the evil store. HP upgrade. Magic anvil. Fix your shield on the move, even if it's broken. Unavailable stuff. We can get a potion, which is unavailable, or a potions upgrade. Also, it looks like we have 5 lives. Sunburned, can't move. So much pain. Free coffee, the lowest rung of employee benefits. True. This castle's alright. I miss the manor though. Our leader, the Baron, is a bit eccentric. You'll love him. This way to World 1, the Mall Forest. Oh, come on, I was 10 minutes late. Ugh. That's it, I've had it. I'm camping here. Don't you dare. This is my spot. You'll regret it, kid. Alright, to World 1. Welcome to World 1, the Moth Forest. We are in Moth Forest Cave. Not one more step. There's a town up ahead. Your kind is not welcomed in there. Bothering me so soon. Fine. We're in some kind of cave or something. Wait. I've been here before. I was here with the previous hero not too long ago. We were just starting our adventure. Let's go. Left, Chestnut Town. Right, the Moth Forest. You don't want to go there, seriously. Look, I appreciate your dauntless spirit, but I said I'm not letting you go. Besides, we have more pressing matters at the moment. Jalix, it's actually getting really late here. I should probably go to bed, so good night, everybody. Well, Jalix, thank you for joining us. We're probably going to wrap up in a few minutes. Actually, the stream's gone on for almost its full length of time. And I think this might be a decent place to end, after we kind of just get our foot, in the door, as it were. Hold up, kid. You see that weird artifact over there? These were put there by ancient beings to aid the Chosen One and yours truly in our quest to defeat evil. The same beings that created me. These eerie statues can record our progress as soon as we pass them. To avoid losing progress, I recommend using save stations if you plan on switching save files. You got all that, Scarlet? I mean, kid. Keep that in mind, kid. So it looks like our game is saved here. So we will resume from World 1 next time. So I hope you all will join me next Sunday, and we can all continue exploring Underhero. This looks like it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the discussion of the tropes and really dealing with a lot of the tropes in these type of video games, as well as just kind of exploring this new world that we have to go through. So this game should last a few streams, so hopefully we can get into the lore of it and explore it a bit. And next week we'll have a new conversation to have as well. So everyone, thank you again for coming out. If you are someone new, do consider giving this, do consider giving me a donation. I have a single link and a Patreon link donation in the description down below. Whether you're new or someone who's been here before, do consider giving the video or the stream itself a thumbs up and a like, and consider hitting the bells for notification and subscribing to the channel again if you're new. You can also follow my Twitter and check out the Discord in the description down below. This I'm looking forward to next week with you all. Thank you again. And with that said, my name is Anarchist Terra, and I thank you all for watching, and I hope you'll continue to check out more of my videos during the week. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you all